What's going on, everybody? Lucas here with the Counterpunch Pod alongside my good buddy Rohan Borges, ready to break down UFC Vegas 99, coming to you in the late hours here in New York, as always, currently 11:55. But these are prime hours for us. Ready to break down this card. Not a bad Apex card, Rohan. You know that I am the first person to shit on these Apex cards.
Yeah.
It's a horrible card.
Rant last week.
There is like a 3-fight streak on the prelims that I will get into that is probably the worst 3 fights in a row on any UFC card ever. Excuse me. But besides that, it's a pretty good card. And we also have PFL, so it's pretty good week for MMA. The return of Francis Ngannou, that'll be sick.
Yes, sir.
But before I get into that, Rohan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty well. Back from fall break here at Syracuse. So been, getting back into the, grooves, classes and everything. But I'm excited for this card. Definitely this weekend we get a pretty decent card. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I've been struggling with a lot of picks for this card. That's the first time in a while for me that I've been really indecisive on like a lot of fights. But there is some good spots for a lot of guys, a lot of violence I can see. So yeah, I'm excited. And the main event should be fun with Michel Pereira, who always, he never fails to excite us. So I'm excited for him.
Yeah, it's going to be sick. It's a clash of styles. I made a little video for the Instagram earlier in the week. And yeah, I think I described it pretty well. It's literally a clash of styles. It's going to be a great fight. I think it's either an early Pereira finish or a late Hernandez finish. We will see. It's going to be a fun one. Before we get into it, we got some people in the chat. Y'all were underestimating Royval last week.
You're right, man.
A little bit. I still believe in Tyra, though. I still really do believe in Tyra. I feel like
he's got to clean up that striking, dude. Oh my god,
the reach of Royval got to him. Tyra, I mean, the durability on this guy's absolutely insane. The recovery, absolutely insane. And the ground game, absolutely insane. I do feel like Tyra will still be a flyweight champion. What is he, 24, 25, something crazy? But yeah, maybe a little bit. We were underestimating Brandon Royval. It was a great fight, though, regardless. The 3 women fights in a row. I'll get into that in a bit. So yeah, I'm going to pull up my share screen here, and we're going to go over these fights one by one. Give me 1 second. Boom. Boom. And we should be good to go. There we go. Here we go with the ads. Okay. Yeah, Pereira versus Hernandez. Fun card, fun main event. 5 rounds. I don't think this one goes 5 rounds. Yeah. And yeah, let's start. First fight on the card, Robelis Despain taking on Austin Lane. Didn't mean to rhyme there, but the names do. I mean, similar to the main event, this is a clash of styles. You have Despain, who's going to want to do anything he can to keep it on the feet. And you have Austin Lane, who's going to want to do anything he can to take this fight to the mat. Whose style will work? I don't know. It's tough to call. The fact that Robelis Despain is minus 400, minus 450 here, like the guy can't get up off of the ground. And Austin Lane will shoot takedowns. The only problem here, and which is like kind of scaring me away from taking that big money on Austin Lane, is he's willing to like get into a brawl too much. So I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. I feel like Despain, it's either Despain knockout or Lane decision. It's not going to go any other way. But I'm curious to see if Lane shows desperation with the takedowns and just constantly is shooting, and has the cardio to do it consistently. I do think he can win this fight. I don't think Despain's going to get up from Austin Lane. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how Austin Lane comes to fight. This fight is literally all on Austin Lane. This line makes no fucking sense because we saw Despain get ragdolled by a boxer and Waldo Cortez Acosta in his last fight. But yeah, we'll see. I'll pick Despain knockout. Would I be surprised if Lane wins a decision by grappling? Not at all. Who do you got, Roman?
Yeah, I mean, you described it perfectly. It's either going to go one of two ways. Despain in the first freaking 20 seconds of the fight, first round, or Austin Lane by decision. But I like you said, man, Austin Lane is not one of those guys, in my opinion, at least, that has shown the maturity and the IQ to do what is necessary in the majority of his fights to get the win. And obviously what is necessary against Robelis Despain is to take him down repeatedly, as we saw in his last fight, which, I mean, I think I picked him to win against Waldo, but everybody knew if he lost what it would look like. And I mean, it's the same case here. Like if Austin Lane is serious and really relentless in his pursuit of the takedown, then yeah, it's a little scary. But I just think that, like you said, he's way too willing to brawl. We saw it with Justin Tafa or Junior Tafa. I forget which one of those brothers it was that he fought. Um, and we've seen it throughout his career, to be honest, as a UFC fighter. Like he does have some talent on the ground. He is somebody that trains his jujitsu, trains his ground game a lot, but he doesn't always go to it. And I mean, that's why he's been knocked out back to back. Tafa, Jonathan Deniz, that's a worse loss than the Tafa one. And I just think if Jonathan Deniz is knocking him out, and if he's willing to stand with somebody like that, who's also just known for his power, then it's just going to tell me that he's going to be willing to do the same against Despain. And Despain, I think both of these guys are just huge for the division as far as their frame. 6'6", Lane, and 6'7" for Despain. These guys are huge. It's going to be hard for Lane to really use his leverage to get underneath, I think, to take Despain down. And I just think Despain's going to let his hands go early and catch him because Lane is very chinny. So I'm going to take Despain. Obviously, it's a really juiced price, and I do agree that the line is a little bit wide, but I mean, I can't see Lane doing what Cortez Acosta did.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the only thing is Lane has better wrestling than Cortez Acosta. Like Cortez Acosta is a boxer, but as you mentioned, Lane is willing to put himself in the fire. It's up to Lane. Lane can win this fight, but it's on him. But we'll see how it goes. I was wondering when we were going to see you two this week. We're here. The fans wanted us, Rohan. We're back. UFC Vegas 99. UFC Vegas 100. UFC Apex 100 is approaching. Like that's just
baby. That's actually insane.
I can't believe that. That's
absolutely.
Wow. But yeah, let's move on here. I almost went back on StreamYard again, left accidentally. But yeah, let's begin this 3-fight streak of
oh man, I was literally thinking the same thing. It's so bad. Oh my god.
Complete fucking ass. So fucking bad that I may make a short video out of this. Like it's that awful. Like what are we doing here, UFC? I don't want to talk about this. Like I don't want to talk about this.
We got it. It's part of the job.
I love this sport. I do. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not going to go on another rant like last week because that took probably like 3 years off my life. But yeah, how do I break this down? Alex Arteline's probably the worst fighter in the UFC, so I'll pick Melissa Martinez. That's how I'm going to break it down. But like you look at who they've recently fought. Like,
yeah, her last fight was 2 years ago. That's why I'm like, okay. But I mean, look, this fight, this is real low level stuff. Artelian, like you said, she's just so bad. She really does not have a consistent skill that she can turn to. I mean, her striking is all over the place. She has nothing on the back foot. As soon as she feels pressure, she just puts her head down and starts swinging. And that's really how she gets her takedowns. I mean, she's going to look to take this fight down because Martinez is a better striker, clearly. Just watching the tape, you can see that. But yeah, I'm going to pick Martinez. I just think even off the 2 years layoff here, you just look at how this fight is going to play out. In women's MMA, I think the judges are much more inclined to score damage over control because the control looks so boring. Most of the time when these women are on top, they're not doing anything. That's crazy. But yeah, I just think that Martinez is way more talented on the feet. She's gonna have the striking advantage in every single round. Artelian's not gonna be able to take her down consistently enough. So yeah, Melissa Martinez is the pick.
Yeah, Alice Artelian is so fucking shit, and Melissa Martinez is not that good either. But it's the battle of, we say this from time to time, who's more ass? Artelian is definitely more ass. I'm not saying anything more about this fight. This fight is so horrible. Not a UFC caliber fight. Invicta caliber fight. This fight should go to Invicta. Thoughts?
Yeah, honestly, literally, this is not a UFC caliber fight, but you could say that about like 40-50% of the female fights in the UFC, so it's not a surprise.
Lucas is Joe from You. What the fuck who is Joe from You?
That's a show on Netflix.
Hold on, let me look it up.
So they're saying you look like him.
Joe from You. Oh, he's a good looking guy. I'll take it. Fuck it. I'll take it. I look like this dude.
Apparently.
Yo, shout out to you, Wick. I'll take it as a compliment. All right, let's move on. We're gonna push through this fucking streak of assness. We get a little bit less ass here between Jessica Penne and Elise Reed, but Jessica Penne is so horrible that I don't know. I don't know. You can go first, I guess.
Look, Jessica Penne, she's 41 years old now. And while I do think that she is going to try very hard in this fight, which is, hey,
she's gonna try. She's gonna try.
Try very hard. She's gonna try. She's
gonna
give it
do her best.
I think Elise Reed is just at this stage in their career. She's got a little bit more, and it's weird. It's very weird. If you look at her UFC career, it's literally alternating win loss. So if you're keeping up with the trend, she's gonna win this fight. That's just what her history says. So I'm gonna pick Elise Reed, but I just do think that she will do enough. She will do more later in the fight. I think Penne will actually give her some trouble. If the fight hits the ground, let me say Penne does have some decent jiu-jitsu. Like Elise Reed is susceptible to back takes. She's been rear naked choked by Luma Lokbumi. She got rear naked choked by in her last fight, in her last loss against Lupi Godinez. Like she can easily be submitted, but I just don't think that at this stage Jessica Penne has enough to keep the fight there in advanced positions like that. I think Elise Reed will keep it on the feet and just do the better work over 15 minutes. So I could see a close decision, but I'm gonna take Reed for sure.
I'm like shit like this has me contemplating whether like I'm doing am I in the right sport?
Oh man.
I'd rather talk about some challenger tennis match than this. I mean, I can try to give you guys a breakdown. I mean, Jessica Penne's got some solid jiu-jitsu. Elise Reed is kind of okay everywhere. Elise Reed is better cardio. Penne, all she really has is a dangerous ground game. I feel like Penne's path to victory is an armbar off of her back, and as long as Elise Reed isn't an idiot, she should win. But with that being said, Elise Reed has lost to the likes of Lupita Godinez, obviously not a bad loss, but Loma Boom submitted her, not a great look. Got finished by Sam Hughes, not a great look. But yeah, Jessica Penne, 42 soon. I'll take the younger fighter and Elise Reed. I don't want to look at this anymore. And we got one more fight to push through here. And actually, this is Rohan. I'll let you take over. Rohan's favorite fighter.
Yeah, please, I'll take the mic here. This is my GOAT, Jocelyn Edwards, the GOAT, La Pantera. She is the best women's fighter in the world, best women's bantamweight fighter in the world. Obviously, I'm joking, but she's my favorite fighter because I just watched her get robbed in real time, and I just felt so deeply sad for her because it was just it was despicable from the judges, honestly, and I really did not like that. But ever since then, she's looked good. Obviously, back-to-back losses, it's not looking good recently for Jocelyn, but this is a very favorable matchup. Let me say, Tamires Vidal, she's not the smartest in there. She's got some good grappling skills. She does have some solid takedowns, and Jocelyn Edwards is probably the easiest woman to take down in the division, but she also has good takedown offense of her own, and I think she could use that against Vidal. So it's kind of, I think this fight plays out similar to a lot of Jocelyn Edwards fights, which is kind of back and forth, very scrappy, very competitive. But I do think that Edwards has improved her striking. Believe it or not, look, her kicks are very good for the division. She's got fast kicks. She mixes it up to the body, mixes it up to the legs. It's hard to time. And she just has a high output in general. So I think that her output is going to win her this fight. Could I see Vidal taking her down and holding her down for like minutes at a time? Yes. But I think Edwards is good enough to be able to work her way back up and even maybe take Vidal down sometimes. So I think she's just going to do the better work over 15 minutes. I think she'll be more active in there. And she is a pretty big favorite. Minus 215 is a little wide, in my opinion, but I do think that she looks better and she looks, in the judges' eyes, more clearly like the victor. So yeah, I'm going to pick her.
Yeah, I'll never forget Tamires Vidal versus Montserrat Rendon. I bet on Vidal because Rendon is like the worst fighter of all time. And Vidal somehow lost that fight. I thought she won the fight, to be honest, but the fact that it was even that close against Rendon made me want to throw up. And then she got the first ever fight to end via punch to the tit.
No,
Did you see
seriously.
that?
Yeah, nah, I think I do remember that shit. That
Yeah,
was
Melissa Gatto literally punched her in the tit, and she lost.
wow.
Yeah, Tamir's Vidal is horrible. I think
Yeah,
Jocelyn
she's
Edwards.
younger. She's young, like 26, but I just don't. I think that Jocelyn's got advantages, man.
Yeah, I think Edwards is a little bit better. I do feel like Edwards will be able to get takedowns here, hence why she's the favorite. We saw Vidal get taken down and held down by Rendon. I feel like Edwards will be able to do the same, so I'm gonna go Edwards to win by decision. Wick saying Artelene is all ass. I get what you're saying there. Pena's, well, I don't know what the fuck that means. You heard it here first. Ilya by knockout, lights out. I'm with you. I agree. I do think he
I
knocks.
did. I was literally saying the same to my friend today. I'm the closer we get to the fight, the more confident I'm getting at Ilya. Unfortunately,
Same, 100%. Artelian versus Jocelyn. Oil him up before the fight. Yo, you are a hornball, Wick.
yeah. For this guy, man, I'm
Of a
dead.
woman.
MMA.
Damn. What do y'all think about what do y'all think will main 312? I think it's be. I mean, I don't know. I mean, 311 is not even announced yet, so that's gonna eliminate
They
one.
said 312 is in Sydney though, right? So I mean, maybe somebody from
Volk probably, right?
yeah. I would love to see Volk back, but yeah, I think it's been enough time, right? He needs to be back. Main event spot. I think it makes sense, but yeah, maybe at lightweight too. Maybe at lightweight. I like that. I like Volk coming up to lightweight. Maybe taking on Dustin Poirier has been saying he wants a last fight. He's calling Justin Gaethje and Dan Hooker, but maybe they do that. I don't know.
311 is DDP.
311 is
I
DDP.
don't think they announced that, but that probably would make sense, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
That's gonna be a good fight. I know that'll be another banger. So that's good.
Yeah, for sure. Let's move on to a good fight, a really good fight. Thank God. Brad Katona versus John Matsumoto.
This is where I was struggling. I'm interested to hear what you think because I'm struggling.
It's an interesting fight. It's a very, very interesting fight. Matsumoto, pretty big favorite. I don't agree with the line, but we'll talk about that in a second. Matsumoto, I'll never forget that Contender Series fight against Casey Tanner, I believe it was. Looked incredible. I had a bet on him, and he's just such a technical striker. He's really good. He's really, really good. But although he finished his UFC debut, he kind of disappointed me a little bit. I mean, he was kind of getting ragdolled, thrown around by Argueta in the first half of that fight. It wasn't the best look. And he's facing Katona, who is a solid striker and can mix in the wrestling. And I feel like this is a super close fight that goes the distance. And it's going to be damage over control. And I feel like there's a situation in which the judges lean towards the control of Katona, which is why I just think this line is off. Like Katona is like plus 200. I feel like Matsumoto should be sitting more at like minus 150 because I do feel like the finishing potential is on his side. I don't see John Matsumoto getting finished by Brad Katona because Brad Katona couldn't finish Rohan or I. But with that being said, I do feel like Katona could put together a good game plan, make this one very close when it hits the cards. I'm gonna pick Katona. Fuck it, I'll pick Katona here to win the fight. I think he finds takedowns. I think he'll get Matsumoto down. I don't know. He just doesn't have the best control. That's the only thing. I don't know. I'm gonna rewatch that Matsumoto Argueta fight one more time and make my decision. I know exactly who Brad Katona is. I mean, he's like good everywhere. He's got insane cardio. Both fighters have insane cardio. But yeah, for now, I'm actually going to side with the dog and Katona, but I want to think about this one a little bit more. So take that with a grain of salt. Who do you got?
Yeah, same with me. I mean, I'm gonna. This is kind of a theme for me on this card. It's really tough to pick between a lot of these fights because it's a clash of styles in a lot of them. And this is one like John Matsumoto, like you said, really good on the feet, so technical, so fast, sharp. He throws a lot of straight punches. I love guys that just keep everything in front of them. They don't throw looping shots. He's very clean on the feet, and he's gonna have, I think, the advantage on the feet in this fight. Though Brad Katona is a solid striker, like you said. I think he is definitely going to be looking to get the fight to the ground more often than not. He doesn't have the best control, but he is going to keep the pressure on Matsumoto. I think, deeper into the fight, he could be the one that is kind of the aggressor. Although Matsumoto is good on his back foot, like he is really solid at keeping, his accuracy on the back foot. Like he doesn't have a problem with pressure at times. he can handle that. So it's tough, man. He's undefeated for a reason. Like, but again, the Argueta fight, he was gonna lose that fight. Clearly, he lost the first round easily, was losing the second round until he got the big moment. So that's the thing, right? In this fight, the moment winner will be Matsumoto, but the minute winner could be Katona. So it's really tough to see in the judges' eyes what they're gonna favor. But I think the finishing potential is on Matsumoto's side. I think I like Brad Katona, although he's solid, he hasn't really impressed me. Like you said, like he has no finishing ability really. It's all just control, control, control. And I don't know if he's faced somebody as technical as Matsumoto who can really put it on his chin, pause, and make him, really like actually rock him, stun him like that. So I don't know, man. I think Matsumoto is he's got the advantage on the feet. So I'm gonna say he just scores the bigger moments, gets enough damage to win on the judges' cards, but not confident. I'm with you here. Like, don't take my opinion with much, because it's tough to choose between these guys. Definitely.
Yeah, I said what I have to say about this one, so we'll move on. Heard Armin's dad is a billionaire tycoon. Are we talking about Armin Sarukian?
Yeah.
Interesting. That pause was zesty. Wrong.
Man, Wick MMA, bro.
He's got something against you, I guess.
Forever.
Let's move on. Next fight. Mateusz Nicolau taking on Asu Almabayev. I think Asu wins. And I think Asu can knock him out. That's my bold prediction. Because Mateusz Nicolau has 0 chin. And I'm actually curious what the Asu by knockout line is. The thing is, Mateusz Nicolau is a great Brazilian jiu-jitsu artist. Like, he's got dangerous submission game. He's active off of his back, which is going to give Almabayev some trouble here. But I do feel like we could see like a fake takedown overhand right, knocks Nicolau out clean situation here. Yeah, see, the fight goes the distance already, minus 260. So what's Almabayev by? Give me Almabayev KO at plus 1,000 all day. I mean, I think that's a crazy line. Nicolau has no chin. I'm going to be betting that. I'll give that to you guys this week's free bet on the live stream. I think Almabayev knocks out Nicolau. I mean, gets inside, closes the distance. He's got solid boxing, just lands one of those overhand rights and knocks out Mateusz Nicolau. I mean, I don't even think he needs to mix in the wrestling here. I like Almabayev to get a knockout here. What do you got?
I don't know, man. I do think that Nicolau is chinny. Like, obviously, he got knocked out by Alex Perez. That's a really bad look. The Royval loss, like, you look at that one, and those are his only 2 losses by knockout in the UFC, right? Like, or no, that's not even true. Dustin Ortiz was also in the UFC. But recently, like, I mean, yeah, those were bad. They looked bad. But Almabayev's boxing is not good. He's not a good boxer at all. He just swings the same overhands. And to be fair, I mean, he's using that as a way to get inside and do what he does, which is just ragdoll his opponents. Like, that's probably what's going to happen here. If you're betting on what's more likely to happen, it's Almabayev to ragdoll him. But Nicolau's striking is much better, in my opinion. You're just taking into account the entire depth of what they can do. Like, Nicolau on the back foot, much more comfortable. He's actually decent on the counter. He's decent at finding the target. And I mean, when you look at his past opponents, Royval is somebody that's so unpredictable, but can also strike and come at you from all sorts of angles. Perez, he's pretty technical, but he's also somebody that's willing to stand and throw hard shots in the pocket. Like, Almabayev is not that kind of guy. He's literally just swinging one shot in all just to try to get the takedown. So I don't know. Like, I'm not really feeling I'm not too confident that Almabayev is going to be able to knock out Nicolau, because I don't think he's going to get into that type of exchange where he's that, exposed. I think that he's going to be aware of that, because that's all Almabayev has really to his striking. So I think there's a potential for Nicolau to even catch him on the way in, because Almabayev leaves his chin open, like wide open to be hit on the way in. If this fight is going to be to end inside the distance. But I do think that Almabayev gets him down enough of the time to win probably a decision, like not a decision, but submit him or something like that. I don't think that he's going to knock him out. That's all I'm saying. I don't think he's got the power or the dexterity to knock him out on the feet. But I just think Nicolau is susceptible to the takedown. He's got good takedown defense, So I think it'll be troubling for Almabayev at times, but yeah, overall, I think you trust his style and his game plan more than Nicolau, and especially given the fact that he was knocked out by guys that don't have the craziest power. But it's tough. It's tough to pick in this one. I think the line is a little. I don't know. It's close. And a lot of Almabayev fights, the line is crazy. This one's closer for a reason because Nicolau was like at the top of the division contending for titles, but now I mean he's in a prove it spot. So I don't know.
I mean, what Wick said here is like exactly what I'm thinking. Amabayev by big meaty hook while he goes for a takedown. Islam versus T-Bow style. Like I just feel like he gets inside while shooting a takedown. All he has to do is hit him once. I disagree with you. I mean, I feel like a lot of flyweights probably have the power to knock out Mateus Nicolau. I mean, this guy has zero chin. Perez.
Yeah, but you're not giving. But like the Royval fight, Royval can knock anybody out with the way he fights. Like Royval can catch anybody, and the way
I didn't
Perez.
say Royval. I said Alex Perez.
Yeah, but that's the only one that looks insane. Like that's the he only.
Okay, that happened what 5-6 months ago.
Yeah, but still, I mean, like,
is his chin gonna magically get better?
Not that style. Like Almabayev is not somebody that is trying to strike. Like again, when he does throw those punches, he's only looking to get inside. He's like a Marab type of guy. Like that's only looking to take the fight down and keep you there. Like that's what he's going to try to do. And Nicolau actually does have good takedown defense. Like he's shown the ability to keep the fight standing, to hold the fight against the cage, and he sees everything more than Almabayev does. If he can make this somewhat a striking match, like he sees the fight better on the feet, he'll be able to catch him on the way in if Almabayev gets too reckless. Which is why I think the line is the way it is. Because if that wasn't the case, and if he didn't have good takedown defense, I mean, Almabayev would be able to do what he does to everybody, which is just take down and ragdoll him. But I mean, Nicolau does have respectable takedown defense, so they're thinking that this could stay on the feet for enough time. And if that's the case, then Nicolau would have the time to catch him on the feet once he starts to slow down. Although his cardio is up there, but I think both of them are. And Nicolau was at the top of the division. Like his back is against the wall, so I think that he will play this one smart. So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. But I do think like at plus 1,000 is definitely worth the shot. But we'll see.
So who are you picking to win?
I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying. Is a lot of these are really fucking tough, dude. But I think
the way you're talking, you're picking Nicolau. Because Nicolau's never been submitted. You saying he's got.
I'm picking Nicolau, bro. I'm picking Nicolau because I just think Almabayev is so reckless on the feet, and if it's gonna end in inside the distance, Almabayev by sub, I think it's probably unlikely just because Nicolau does have really good or respectable ground game. Like I just think he's gonna if this one's ending inside the distance by knockout, like you say, what is it? It's minus 265 to go inside the distance, or what was that? Minus 265 to go the distance. Yeah, but so they're favoring Almabayev to just hold on to him the entire time. And I don't think Nicolau's going to let that happen.
Okay. I'm going Almabayev knockout. I'm sticking to my guns.
Which is very specific. So like we're both against that line. So I think it does end inside the distance, but I'm just on the other side.
Okay. Understandable. Wick saying you're yapping though, so we got to move on.
I was yapping.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
My case though.
Oh, this is a tough fight to call. Darren Elkins versus Daniel Pineda. I mean, on first look, I saw the odds and I'm like, why is Daniel Pineda only a minus 120 favorite? And then you think about it. I mean, this guy does not have the best cardio, but he kind of just pushes through. I do feel like it's a tough matchup, though. I feel like Pineda can 100% finish this fight in round one, but the longer the fight goes, I mean, Darren Elkins is just going to drown this guy, I feel. But he's old, and he's way out of his prime. And I feel like although they're similar age,
yeah,
better recently. So I don't know. I feel like it's either Pineda round one knockout or Elkins just wears on him as the fight goes on. I'm going to say Darren Elkins late submission. That's going to be my pick. Yeah, I just think Pineda gasses. I think Elkins survives. Elkins is a dog. He did get knocked out by that fucking wheel kick, though. Pineda ain't throwing no fucking wheel kick to the temple. I'm going Elkins by late drownage. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I think I'm inclined to agree here, just because I like Pineda. Hasn't he finished every one of his fights by a knockout? Like he's if he wins, it's by knockout. So like I don't think that Elkins. I mean, Elkins does put himself in the firefight, but he is, like you say, he's the more durable guy. He's the more if this is a war of attrition, I think it's safer to back him. And yeah, man, like later rounds, I think this does go enter the third round, and in a third round where they're both just worn out, I think it's probably safer to say that Elkins is going to be able to use the wrestling, wear on him against the cage, get him down maybe, and threaten the sub. Like I could definitely see where you're coming from there. So yeah, I'll take Elkins by I guess I'll say sub. I'll ride with you there. Submission, if you're gonna call that. I like that pick.
Yeah, simple. We'll move on. Wixan, pointless fight won't do nothing for that fight. Yeah, I mean, yeah, simple as that. You're 100% right. Let's move on though. Next fight.
They just changed this one, right?
They did. Jake Hadley versus Cameron Smotherman. Usually I don't know a lot about these guys, coming from the regional scene, stepping in on short notice. But I know a little bit about Smotherman because I bet against him on the Contender Series when he got fucking knocked out against Arlampos Gregorio, who we now know is god-awful. Kind of just got caught there, whatever. Comes back, great victory against Mondo Gutierrez, sick flying knee. Beat Ryan Cuse and then beat Ryan Mandala, the guy that was 4-6. I mean, this win, I also put money on Smotherman. This is like one of the only times I've ever put money on Fury FC. I was bored one day, I think, and I'm like, fuck it. Cameron Smotherman, you're getting a bet. It was big favorite, -260. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to bet it because I think that, this guy has got the experience. But Ryan Cuse put up a real fight. You can make a case that Cuse won that fight, but it was a damage versus control fight. And Smotherman is really good on the feet. He's really, really good. He can time his shots well. And I don't think he's a bad fighter at all. He's got good takedown defense. I'm going to pick him to win. Plus 300, I think, is where the line is right now. I just think it's a tough stylistic matchup for Hadley because to beat Smotherman, you're going to need to wrestle offensively. And Hadley's a guy that's moving up to 135. He's moving up. He's this guy is a former flyweight. He's now bantamweight. He was never really an offensive wrestler. He's not going to do it at this weight class. And he's kind of a counter striker. Like you look at that Kalen Loughran fight, and Loughran was just pressing forward. Hadley was touching him up and defending the takedowns. Smotherman's kind of going to stay on the back foot and pick his shots. He's got the 2-inch height advantage, almost the same reach. I think it's a close fight that goes the distance. And I just feel like the jab and the two of Smotherman, I'm going to side with Smotherman. I'm not going to say he picks him apart because I do feel like Hadley's a good fighter, but I do think Smotherman will get the job done by decision by just landing a few more strikes. By the way, if you guys don't remember, Rohan and I called Jake Hadley to beat Kalen Loughran, big plus money in his last fight. So that was a good look for us. So I don't know who Rohan's going to go with. He was the one mainly on Hadley. He kind of had to convince me. I don't know.
I remember that.
I'm gonna go with Smotherman.
I remember that, and you mentioned that fight, and you mentioned how like he was more of a counter striker in that fight. But I just think like I like Jake Hadley, and the reason why is because I think he's just a resourceful guy. Like he kind of just knows he has a higher fight IQ than a lot of guys in his tier of the division. I think Kalen Loughran included. But the one that the Charles Johnson fight, I remember that one. Like that was a really bad stylistic matchup, I feel like. But Charles Johnson's like taller. Like I don't know if he's just a lot more unpredictable than I think Cameron Smotherman is. Like I'm not gonna lie and say here that I sit here and watched a lot of the tape on Smotherman because this was so last minute. I had to do a little bit of quick tape on him. But I wasn't like all that impressed with the striking. It is kind of, I don't want to say generic but he's kind of, it's kind of simple. He keeps everything straight. 1-2s, a lot of straight techniques. Even his kicks are really straight, and he does leave a lot of openings. He does, throw a lot of crazy strikes sometimes and get overconfident. I think Hadley is going to have opportunities to use his wrestling advantage here. I think he does have a wrestling advantage between these two. Not that he is a wrestler or a grappler, but he just can do that in order to win a fight. Like he knows how to do that in order to just make it look good on the judges' scorecards. I think he's not the best striker. Like Jake Hadley does leave a lot of openings. I think Smotherman will hurt him on the feet. But I think this is going to be a competitive fight, and I think Hadley will do enough later with his gas tank and his IQ to be able to just wear on Smotherman late. But if you're gonna judge it on damage over control, I could definitely see Smotherman doing the more damage because he is a really fast and sharp striker. So I mean, I'm interested to see what he's able to do on short notice. I mean, it'll be crazy to see if he comes in there and knocks Hadley out. But I'm on the other side on this one.
Quick twitched, I feel like, is the word for
Quick
Smotherman.
twitch is a good description. He is really fast, man. Like very just yeah. I mean, in a sense, he is unpredictable. So I could see Hadley getting caught with something there. Like I don't know. I'm Charles Johnson is was he supposed to be? Is he on this card too? Yeah,
Yeah.
he's next. Oh my god, great. But yeah, I'm interested. I know Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson's got me excited. Nah, but I don't know, man. It'd be crazy, but I can see where you're coming from though.
Yeah, I'll stick to my guns. I'll take Smotherman plus money. It's going to be a very close fight. As you said, the cardio is going to be on Hadley's side. I mean, Smotherman taking this fight on, what, 4 days' notice?
Yeah.
But, yeah, the line actually opened, I think, like an hour ago or 2 hours ago.
Is it on Fight Odds?
Hadley opened as -200, now all the way to -355.
Jeez.
I hope it keeps growing. Right now I can get Smotherman at +290. I'm gonna take a stab. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna take a stab. Smotherman saying Smotherman by smother. I'm with you. Trolling aside, you guys are good at this. Keep posting. That's what we're gonna do. We appreciate you dearly. It means a lot.
Right.
Getting to Charles in a sec here. Is he next?
He's next, man.
He's next. Wow. This is a good fight. Sumu Darji taking on Charles Johnson. You know, Rohan, when I first saw the line come out for this fight, I said to myself, Charles Johnson is an incredible parlay piece. I mean, Sumu Darji has looked so shit in his last 2 fights. I mean, fought against Matt Schnell, got finished by Matt Schnell. Wasn't a good look. Showed that he had 0 ground game. Great striker, but showed that he had 0 ground game. Fought against Tim Elliott 10 months ago, and again showed that he has 0 ground game. But this guy's an incredible striker. I mean, good win against Zaruk Adashev, for whatever that means. Knocked out Malcolm Gordon, arguably the funniest knockout of all time. Malcolm Gordon literally wanted out of that fight. It was crazy. He got punched to the hand and like pretended he got knocked out. It was the craziest thing. Beat Sukumtath. I mean, obviously these wins are so shit. But he has a 1-inch height disadvantage. Why do I feel like he's the taller fighter? I don't know. He's got a 2-inch reach advantage though. And I feel like when they're striking, and the reason why Johnson is -300, -400 here, when they're striking, this is going to be a very, very close fight. Like Sumu Darji is going to use that jab, use that 1-2, try to keep Charles Johnson at range. It's going to be close, and I just feel nothing's shown us that Charles Johnson will put together an offensive wrestling game plan. I just don't know if we'll see it. However, with that being said, I'm going to pick Johnson. He's on a 3-fight winning streak. He's looked really good. And I feel like he's a smart fighter. I feel like he'll do the right thing, and I feel like he will mix in the wrestling. But I don't know. This fight's in Johnson's hands. I feel like he could definitely lose if this stays a striking fight. Sumu Darji's a very talented striker. However, when it hits the mat, he's going to be in serious trouble. And I think Johnson's even alive for a submission, which has me thinking, what's that line at? Because we know Johnson doesn't really get submissions. So you could get Johnson's submission, okay, plus 350. I'll still probably bet on it, but not as crazy as I thought. I'm gonna pick Charles Johnson though to win. Closer fight than people think though.
I don't know, man. I do think that it could be a close fight because Sumu Darji is historically a good striker, but man, what Charles Johnson did to Joshua Van, I really can't get that out of my head because I was so confident in Joshua Van to win that fight. I just thought Joshua Van is better in this matchup. He's cleaner striker. He'll be able to wear on him later in the fight, but it didn't even make it later in the fight because Charles Johnson, I mean, put him away with a clean combo, a clean uppercut. And I mean, man, I think he's kind of improving to say that. It's kind of weird because he's 5 years older than Sumu Darji, but Sumu Darji recently, I mean, I have not been impressed in that Matt Schnell fight. You just watch the tape in that fight. Matt Schnell was piecing him up. I mean, that's bad. And I mean, when you're just like, he's got good cardio. I mean, good durability. Both of these guys actually have really good durability. So if somebody gets hurt here, I could see a situation where they recover and kind of make the fight close again. But I do think that somebody's going to get hurt in this fight, and just the way Charles Johnson fights, he is, and especially in his last couple, he's been really unpredictable. The striking's getting a lot crazier, but still he's finding the target with a lot of his shots, like his spinning elbows and jumping techniques that he's throwing. Like he's kind of all over the place in a sense, but he's still putting it together, and it looks good. I think he is the better striker between the two, and like you were just saying, he's the better grappler. I mean, Sumidarji's got a lot of questions on the ground. Charles Johnson, will he do it? I don't know, but he probably should at some point look to take this fight to the ground, and he's got the BJJ advantage. So yeah, I think Charles Johnson's pretty safe parlay piece still. I know you said that at the beginning, but I still think he is. I just don't see too many paths to victory for Sumidarji other than a really close split decision, to be honest.
I don't know. I feel like you're doubting his striking a little bit.
Bro, the match that I like, Charles Johnson, I thought Joshua Van was like a better striker than Charles Johnson. I just thought like, okay, Joshua Van, he takes a round off, he eats a lot of damage, but overall he's gonna take advantage, wear on him to the body. It was the opposite. Charles Johnson was the one mixing it up to the body, making Joshua Van think, marching him down, and uppercut, that finishing sequence was beautiful. Like, I don't think Sumidarji really has that in his bag at this stage, especially like, I don't know. Those last two losses are just so ugly, in my opinion. That's all. Like, look at the topology. It's the opposite. Charles Johnson, 2 L's. He's cleaning it up. Sumidarji looked good, and now he's tailing it off. So I'm just riding with the momentum.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing. I'll ride the bandwagon. I'll take Charles Johnson here. I just think it's in Charles Johnson's hands. I feel like this guy could lose if it stays striking, but if he does fight smart, mix in the wrestling, I think he gets the job done. Yeah, let's move on. Go main event time. No, I don't want to see the stats. No, I don't want to go back to the homepage.
Topology.
Oh, I want to look at boxing. I want to look at the UFC.
And when you click it, it makes you click it like twice sometimes, bro. It's so annoying.
That's horrible. It's horrible. All right.
Good fight.
Great fight. Great fight here. Rob Font versus Kyler Phillips. Yeah, the line makes sense. Sorry, God, fucking damn, it's midnight over here. But 12:30 actually. I do think Kyler Phillips gets it done. I do feel like the line is kind of crazy. Like minus 450. Like, all right, it's kind of disrespectful to Rob Font. Kind of. I mean, yeah, he's lost 4 out of his last 5, but it's kind of disrespectful. Yeah, I just feel like Phillips is going to be way too fast. Way too fast. He is super, super lightning quick. So fast. And Rob Font at this point of his career cannot defend a takedown as well. I just feel like everything Kyler Phillips will do in this matchup, whether he decides to stay striking, whether he decides to mix in the wrestling, is just going to be too fast for the 37-year-old Rob Font. I think it's as simple as that. I feel like that's why the line is what it is. I feel like I'm just going to take Kyler Phillips to win. Be too fast here. I feel like that makes sense. And I got to get water, so take the wheel.
Yeah, look, I mean, you said the line, it is what it is for a reason. 37 years old now. I didn't even realize Rob Font was that old because it felt like he just started kind of hitting his stride in the UFC not even that long ago, like 2020. But look at the names he's losing to: Jose Aldo, Marlon Vera, Corey Sandhagen, Davison Figueiredo. These are such tough losses because you just know like how dangerous these guys are. But the Corey Sandhagen loss specifically, man, how easily he was able to take him down like a knife cutting through butter, bro. It was insane. I was like, dude, offer some resistance at all. Like, just see the takedown coming. He couldn't at all. And I'm not even saying that Kyler Phillips is going to wrestle him to death here because that's probably not even his strategy. He can strike with him and still beat him because, like Lucas was saying, the speed and all the athletic ability of Rob Font is kind of being zapped at the moment. I mean, just it's gone with his age. It's gone with just how much damage he's taken over the course of these last couple of years in his career. I mean, just getting abused by these guys. The Marlon Vera loss was disgusting. Corey Sandhagen kind of just, destroyed him. And then Davison Figueiredo put a beating on him. Jose Aldo even, I mean, kind of hurt him a lot. He's really somebody that's taken a lot of damage over the course of his career. I think it's starting to add up. Kyler Phillips, on the other hand, hitting his prime, very sharp fighter, very versatile fighter. He can do everything. He can grapple, he can strike. And his striking is very, very fast, very clean. He mixes up his kicks very well, can kick to the body, can punch to the body. I mean, he's just really, really solid everywhere. And yeah, the line as I'm talking, it makes more and more sense. I just don't see how Rob Font wins this fight because he's not going to be able to deal with the grappling. He can't really drag this one out to make a close decision. So I just think that Kyler Phillips is going to take over, at some point in this fight. It could be early, could be late, but he's going to dominate just because Rob Font has not looked good in any of his last couple of fights. The Yanez one, obviously, that lone win in there in his last five. I guess there's something to be said about that. Another boxer, but Yanez really, I think, got fraud checked by a lot of his opponents. I mean, UFC fans were hyping him up as some great prospect, and he kind of got fraud checked in that one. I don't think Kyler Phillips is that one dimensional. He's got a lot more in his bag. And I think overall, man, he's just going to dominate in this fight. But yeah, Kyler Phillips has an interesting career. I mean, you just look at it. Me and Lucas always joke because he beat Song Yadong in a unanimous decision like years and years ago. At this point, what, 2021? Not that long. But that's just a crazy win on his record. It looks better. It's aging like fine wine, but this is going to be another good name to add to his resume. And then, maybe we could start to talk about Kyler Phillips really climbing the rankings because I think this guy has the talent to contend for, and this is a deep division. I mean, this is bantamweight. We know how deep this division is, but this guy, if you're talking about, future, potential title challengers, I think he's up there, man. Still 29 years old. He's got, I think 4 years really in him to make a nice run and keep his name relevant in the division. And he could do it. He's a problem. So, yeah, I'm just yapping at this point, trying to save this, while Lucas is cleaning up his water. Apparently he spilled his water. But yeah, no, this should be a really, really, really solid fight. So I'm excited for this co-main event. Should be a fast-paced fight. Like Rob Font, while he is, slower in the striking department, he's willing to engage in a firefight every single time. He loves to box. He loves to get dirty in there. And Kyler Phillips is gonna, accept that challenge and take that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, dude, I was watching from downstairs. I'm like, fuck, this guy's yapping his ass off. That's my bad. You were trying to just keep that alive. He's just transitioning from just
I even mentioned our little inside joke about Song.
Yeah. See, it was all yap until you mentioned that. That was like Rohan and I, like, one night we were just sitting there and I'm like, I turned on the fight between Song Yadong and Kyler Phillips, and I'm like, can you fucking believe that Song Yadong lost to this dude Kyler Phillips?
Crazy, but he's
crazy.
Good.
But shout out to you. Sorry about that. I did spill water on the ground. I had to clean it up. Okay. Do not want to bust my ass. But we're back. Yeah, couldn't have said it better though. I was listening to everything you said, and yeah, I feel like the line does make sense. Let's move on. Enough yap with that fight. I'm out of breath. I fucking sprinted up the stairs. Whew. Michelle Pereira versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. I kind of said how I feel when the stream first started. I feel like it's Pereira first round knockout or Fluffy like second, third, fourth round finish. I feel like Pereira, I feel like at middleweight his cardio is not anywhere near as bad as welterweight, but at the same time I don't feel like he'll be able to find a finish in the second or third round. Maybe he'll still be effective. I just don't think he'll be able to find a finish. Fluffy's faced some really fucking good fighters recently. Yes, he doesn't have the best durability. Yes, he's very weak to the body. And yes, we saw Pereira hurt Mikhail Olejniczak with a big knee to the body before getting the submission finish. But I do feel like Fluffy, all he's got to do is survive the first round and a half, in my opinion. And it's going to be his world. He's going to start chain wrestling. And I feel like we see a Fluffy third round submission here. I want to hear what you got to say, and I'll decide if I have anything more to say. Go ahead.
It's just tough, man. Like I Michelle Pereira, we all said the same thing. Like this guy is so talented, but he's an idiot. And I mean, every single fight he's just doing tricks in the octagon like some freaking circus animal. But when he cleans up his act, he can actually put a run together, and he's doing it. I mean, he's doing it, but like I'm really not impressed with who he's beating. I hate to say that, but Ihor Porteria, I'm just not a fan. I think he lost again recently, like just last week, right? Yeah, to Cesar Almeida, and he didn't look good. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, Andre Petrosky, I guess that's a good win because you know that the threat of the ground game is there, and he knew that as well. But he finished in one round, and Petrosky just doesn't have any cardio, so we never even got to test that. Ponzinibbio was old. Fialho, if you lose to Fialho, you're not a UFC fighter. Nico Price, Chaos Williams, like I don't know, man. Like he hasn't faced anybody as tough and as determined as Fluffy Hernandez. This guy, he's able to, like you said, he's able to survive the fire every single time, pull himself out of it, and just start to put it on his opponents. And like he does this in round 3, in round 2, every single time. The Shabazian fight, I mean, how brutally he put him out. Marc-Andre Barriault submitting him, that's not an easy guy to finish. And the fact that he submitted him, that's another feather in his cap. Same with the Roman Kopylov finish, great submission win for him. And Pereira is just such a liability in the later rounds with his cardio. You just never know how he's going to survive. I mean, the round 2 fights, like the Junyoung Park, I guess, but that was early in round 2. He lost to Marcus Perez in round 2, lost to Kevin Holland. But I don't know, man. He hasn't faced anybody like Fluffy recently, man. I'm really feeling Fluffy in this spot. I love Pereira, and I love his athletic abilities. I love what he's able to do, his potential as a fighter. But man, it's just in one round. Like he doesn't have much to offer. And we haven't seen him tested like that. Like I will give him that. Like we haven't seen anybody drag him out, but Fluffy's going to be the guy to do it if it's anybody. So if it's not a flying knee or some spinning shit that just catches Fluffy off guard and knocks him out, I think he'll be able to survive and extend the fight. And it's a 5-rounder, man. Like who's
It's not going 5.
But I'm saying like just knowing that it is a 5-rounder, like there's no way Michel Pereira is going to be able to survive in the end of a 3rd round. Like if you see this fight going to the 3rd round, 4th round even, like Fluffy is going to be able to take over. So like you said, you laid it out perfectly. I mean, I just basically said what you said. He's got to survive. But I do think he will. So I'm going to pick him.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm gonna pick Anthony Hernandez. Yeah, like you can get the over 1.5 on Bovada right now at -190. But why would you do that when you could just take the Anthony Hernandez money line at -135? Like it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, true. I think that'll grow. I mean, it's already grown because they were like a pick'emer right at the beginning of the week. So
yeah. Parlay piece wise, I like the fight, the under 3.5, or the fight doesn't start round 5. I feel like this fight 100% finishes within the first 4 rounds, whether it's the Pereira first round knockout or Fluffy submitting him after that. Maybe getting a TKO. I don't know. We'll see. But then again, we haven't seen where Pereira's cardio is at 185. We'll see. We will see. I'm glad this guy's in the main event. It's gonna be sick. I don't know. I mean, when it comes to it, I don't know if I'm comfortable enough to bet the Fluffy money line. I think he wins the fight. I think he survives, but I don't know.
It's just so unpredictable because you just know, like the trajectory of Pereira's career. It's like if he keeps this going, he's going to continue to become a smarter fighter and utilize all his tools to the best of his ability. And he can still do that. They're both 31. They're young in a fighter's career, in terms of a fighter's career. So like he could finish him, but like in the first couple round or two, like if he just puts an elbow on him, like or something like that. I mean, I don't know. The height advantage isn't as crazy as it usually is for Pereira. I think Fluffy's got a good frame for the division. Like, I don't know, man. I just think, like you said, all he's got to do is avoid that one huge shot. And the wrestling is there. Like, Pereira's not a guy that, I don't know. He's got some solid offensive wrestling. It's tough, man. This is a tough fight. It's just going to be a high-octane fight for the first bit. And I just feel like there's a potential that it drops off. The pace of the fight drops off drastically if Fluffy can drag it out. But that pace does scare me because like Pereira, he's going to be in his face. He's going to put a lot of pressure on him, and he's going to be looking for that big shot, whether it's a knee or something. He's going to be trying to put him out. So I don't know, man. It's tough. But I do think that he can survive because he's done it before against guys that can strike. So yeah.
I feel like the best way to bet this fight is just to take the Hernandez money line at -135 and then sprinkle Pereira to win by round 1 knockout at +550. Like, I feel like you're covered there.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, definitely. Because if Pereira does win this fight, it's by knockout. I don't think he subs him
in round 1.
Yeah. In round 1, yes, exactly. If he wins the fight, it's going to be an early knockout. Let me specify. But yeah, the grappling, I don't know, man. I don't know. It definitely won't go to the decision, but yeah, it's tough. But I'm more comfortable picking Fluffy. But like you said, if you're gonna bet on it, that's a perfect way to bet on it. You just gotta hedge with the Pereira early finish.
Yeah, that's all I really got to say about it. I think it's a fun fight to bet on. I feel like you can make guaranteed money out of this one. I really do. Wick saying Pereira steamrolls. Interesting. Pereira has that Figueiredo-esque grappling. A lot of butterfly hooks. I wouldn't compare him to Figueiredo. Figueiredo's a very good grappler. But we'll see. At 185, Pereira seems to be like a different fighter. So I'm interested to see. And I 100% agree with you here. This fight definitely won't go the distance. But yeah, for this card, that's all we got. Again, as I mentioned at the top, I'll be the first one to shit on these Apex cards. This isn't a bad one. This is going to be a fun one. We've also got PFL super fights, which I'm super excited for. The return of Francis Ngannou. I don't know. Are you down to give a rapid, quick fire Ngannou Ferreira prediction
Right now?
right now?
Yeah, I mean,
I was thinking about maybe doing a separate stream because this is a massive card. But then
it
again,
is. It is.
outside
Yeah,
of
a lot of names on this card.
outside of these first 3 fights, like we don't really
This is
know.
a crazy card, actually. Holy shit.
We don't know much about the prelims here, right? Like I know
AJ McKee's there. We got freaking Fabian Edwards.
Fight.
Rafion Stotts is there.
True, but I don't know. The main event and the co-main event is pretty exciting as well. This is, in my opinion, the co-main event between Chris Cyborg and Larissa Pacheco is probably the best women's fight in all of MMA right now. Like I feel like we saw Pacheco beat Kayla Harrison,
True.
right? And I feel like Harrison's probably the best women's fighter right now, pound for pound, in the UFC, and Pacheco's better than her. I mean, she beat her in a 5-round fight, and Cyborg's damn good as well. Nunez is retired, so she doesn't count. I feel like this is probably the best women's fight you could put together right now. And then, of course, the main event. Main event is going to be interesting. I feel like somebody goes down early. Yeah, I guess we might as well give a quick prediction here while we have a few. We haven't hit the hour mark yet, so we'll take like 3 minutes here. Wick saying he's excited for McKee Hughes. It's a great fight. I don't get why Hughes is the dog there. It's going to be a close fight, and kind of getting knocked out. Interesting.
I don't know, man, bro. I can't pick. My bias is 100% activated here, so I won't be picking against Francis Ngannou. But I'll acknowledge the fact that he could get finished, and that's crazy because I'm praying that this man can win this fight, bro. He's been through enough this year. But just like Francis's striking is just still he's 38 now. It is what it is, and
but heavyweights, that age doesn't really matter as much at heavyweight, right?
No, you're right. It's just that like Pereira, I think, might just be a more inherently fluid striker. Like he's just a more fluid striker.
Here's the thing. If Ngannou's smart, he wrestles. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. But man, the only time we've seen that is when he had both of his knees corrupt, like they were cooked. That was the only reason he was doing that shit. So I'm like, fuck, is he gonna do it? He better. But
I think he wins this fight easily if he wrestles. But I just don't know if he's gonna do it. Like it's a massive moment. The fans are expecting a brutal knockout, right? This is supposed to be the PFL's big coming out party. So will he do it? He can 100% win this fight easily if he wrestles. Ferreira has no ground game whatsoever. But I don't know.
I feel like he's going to feel the pressure on him because, I mean, he's coming off of not obviously martial arts losses, but still that horrible. I can't even watch it again. Anthony Joshua knockout. Like after that, I feel like he might feel the pressure to like put on a real show for the fans. And obviously this is PFL debut. He's getting paid a bunch of money. He's the face of the promotion, basically. I mean, so I don't know, man. Like, I don't think that he wrestles. And that scares me. I think the only way he wrestles is if he gets like hurt and then is like a flip switches in his mind and it's like, okay, I need to wrestle. But up until that moment, I feel like he might try to strike. And that scares me because this guy Pereira is very accurate, man. He's solid with that 1-2 of his down the pipe, man. He knows how to find the chin. I don't know, man. It's scary. Francis hasn't really like faced this level of MMA striking threat in a minute, like Gon didn't have the power. Stipe didn't have the stature.
Ferreira by knockout. I'll say Ferreira by knockout.
Fuck.
I'm gonna say Ferreira by knockout.
He said
I don't think Ngannou wrestles. If he does, he wins. What's Ferreira by knockout? What can I get it at? Let's see. It's probably going to be the same exact thing as the money line because is this a 5-rounder?
Yeah, it's got to be.
It is. Okay.
Damn, those 3 or 5. The 3 5-round fights off the top of the card.
Of course they are. 3 title fights, dude.
Damn, let's go. That's tough.
What can I get? Okay, so Pereira money line, dude. So, bro, I had a big back in March. They've had this fight on DraftKings for a while now. Back in March, I placed a pretty big bet on Renan Ferreira at like plus 600, I want to say. And Ngannou was minus now plus 600. I think I put like over $100 on it, which is a lot for a plus 600 because I'm like, that's crazy value. And it came down to like plus 350, and I ended up cashing out because I think I just wanted money to play with at the time. And now you can get Ferreira at like plus 195 on Bovada right now. That's like that, I should have waited even longer. I would have got better cash out. I feel like the line kind of. I mean, what's Ferreira knockout? Yeah, it's the same as the money line. Yeah, I may take Ferreira's money line. I may do
it. I'm gonna take Francis by whatever means possible, but I do acknowledge that you could get slept, man. It'll be a sad sight for me and for all the Francis fans out there. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be a fun fight.
He got slept recently. I'd be picking Ngannou without a doubt in my mind if that Joshua fight didn't happen, but he got brutally knocked out.
It was brutal. He got folded like a lawn chair, bro. Oh, I never thought I'd see that shit. But it was, I don't know, man. I don't even.
Yeah, never seen him get knocked out before that moment.
I know, man. Crazy.
Yeah, that's all I got to say about this, though. We'll call it, I guess. We hit the hour mark. Everybody in here, we thank you so much. It's a good live stream. I almost closed the fucking thing again. Look at me, bro. I'm all over the place. Rohan, any final words?
Nah, man, it's a great weekend of fights. I'm just excited. You know, obviously we got a huge PFL card, pretty solid fight night. So just excited. Enjoy the violence. Should be a lot of fun fights. And we'll see you guys on the other side to recap and do another stream like this. So appreciate the support. Check out the IG. We're dropping more shorts throughout the week. So be on the lookout for those.
Yeah, I got another 2 videos coming tomorrow, so stay tuned. The link is in the description of this video, as well as our betting server where you can get all of our bets. But for now, it's been Lucas and Rohan. Folks, thank you very much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it, and we will see you very soon. Link in the description for everything Counterpunch. Adios.
Peace.